What is up, CMS Braves? Welcome back to another edition of the 14th Colony Vodcast. It is January 14th on the 14th Colony Vodcast, and it is Thursday, your last day of notes, Mr. Congleton. And not just notes, we have a little quiz for you guys to indulge in today. Should be a lot of fun, and we're also talking about James Monroe, who, you know, if James Monroe were here today, present day, Mr. Congleton, he'd probably be like a social media star, right?
Maybe.
He was a good-looking dude, very well-spoken. A lot of people liked him. But he also did he write some really good some documents that were really influential. Mr. Congleton, can you peel back the curtain a little bit for us on James Monroe's presidency?
Monroe, the fifth president. His first term was the era of good feelings. Which are we living in the era of good feelings right now, Mr. Stack?
Hey, depends on your perspective. You can be if you want to.
In your head, it could be the era of good feelings. But back then, for a brief time, right? We like to say that in the past things were better than they are today, but things were pretty brutal back then, and political parties were always at each other's throats. And the era of good feelings didn't last very long, but for a brief time, because of his leadership, it was in place. So at least he's got that to chalk up to himself. So era of good feelings. When you watch the video today, very short video, just hitting the main points. But apparently, good-looking guy. He was very, very popular amongst the people. So James Monroe, you're going to learn more about him, fifth president. Big day today as far as what we got going on. It's the last day of notes. So you should have 4 days worth of notes, all those topics we covered. Then you're going to take a quiz today. So you do have some notes to take today. But the other thing is, between today and tomorrow, you need to take the quiz over the last 2 weeks. Okay, so that information, there's 20 questions, and you can take it as many times as you want until you get at least a 90. You should take it till you get a 90. Use this as not just to see what you know, but as a learning tool. So if you're not familiar with some of these questions, you're like, oh man, I must have taken that day off and didn't learn that topic at all. Or I read the thing that day, but maybe I didn't watch the video, so there's a point that I missed. Go through it again and again and again, okay? Muscle repetition. Get that information in your head, and hopefully we get a bunch of information in our head and start formulating some ideas and concepts to use as we go on.
Well, yeah, and so we're going to talk about the Monroe Doctrine today as well. And Mr. Congleton, true or false, did James Monroe actually write the Monroe Doctrine?
Oh, that would be false. And that's actually a question on the quiz. John Quincy Adams was the Secretary of State, and he's the one that wrote the document and or the proclamation, whatever you want to say it. And James Monroe kind of read that during his State of the Union, and it kind of stuck. And so it's a Monroe Doctrine. But it was under his presidency that it happened. But he was not the author of it.
Yep. And I think that's an important little nugget that's kind of interesting as well. And if you were listening to the podcast, there's one question on the quiz that you should 100% get right. Guys, so yeah, make sure you're doing the quizzes today. Making sure you get all your notes turned in today, because remember, we're going to grade those tomorrow. They're due at noon tomorrow, because Mr. Congleton and I grade those Friday afternoon. So if you want to get not a 0 on those, or not a 33% because you only did one of them, or I guess this week it would be 25% because there's 4, make sure you get those turned in. They should be pretty easy. Here you go. If it's 4 minutes in, if you're still listening to this, guys, let me give you a tip. We don't grade those super hard, do we, Mr. Congleton?
I would try not to. We would check to see that they did it, but
very much. Did you read this? Did you take something from it? Are you talking about what was actually in the documents? If you did that, and there's an adequate amount of notes, it's a pretty open and closed case for us as far as grading it. We just want to see you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and then you show us in your weekly wrap up what you actually learned, like how you soak that stuff in. So, guys, we're not trying to give you any backbreakers here. Just get your stuff in. We love giving you guys good grades. Just go make sure you get them. All right. So a little nugget, if you were still listening, if you stayed with us the whole 5 minutes, guys. So thank you. We'll check in again tomorrow on Friday, and until then, be excellent to each other.